Well, well, well. If it isn't somebody who's using this video as background noise. It's okay though. I mean, you don't have to click off. I wouldn't want you to be stuck endlessly scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Project Sekai is a Japanese rhythm game created by Sega. The actual gameplay is fairly simple most of the time. All you have to do is tap, hold, or flick the notes when they hit the line. But I'm not here to talk about the gameplay. I'm here to talk about the characters. In Project Sekai, there are 6 groups of people, one of which is made up of vocaloids, though I wouldn't really consider it to be a group in of itself. The other 5 groups are made of people, and are Leonid, More Jump, Vivid Bad Squad, Wonderland X Showtime, and Night Court at 25. Now, I could talk for days about these groups, but in this video, I'll only be talking about our first group, Leonid. The main story of Leonid starts with Ichika, a normal girl with a normal life. Just for some backstory, Ichika used to be really close with her friends, Saki, Honami, and Shiho. They would constantly hang out in at least one of the former band, though I'm not sure if they did or didn't. However, Saki has an unknown illness and was hospitalized during junior high. Ichika tried to maintain her friendship with the other 2, but they both drifted away. Honami wanted to prove that she wasn't a bootlicker or a people pleaser, so she abandoned Ichika. Shiho didn't want Ichika to be subjected to the comments other people made, so she abandoned Ichika as well. Anyways, the story takes place over the first year of high school. Ichika is very lonely, and none of her efforts to reach out worked. Just as she wallows in her sadness, Saki appears back at school. Now, Saki went into this thinking her friend group would be the same, but obviously it wasn't. I think this group is the one rooted most in reality, since even if the others are all possible, this is by far the most relatable. Saki takes everything as well as she can and is very positive about it, but she's still affected. Anyways, one day, the Hatsune Miku appears to save the day. Ichika is very confused, but eventually, she and the other 3 are transported to the Sekai through Untitled. At the Sekai, the 4 girls all play a song together. While this encounter may not have reunited the whole friend group, Saki and Ichika decide to form a band with just the 2 of them. The next few episodes focus mainly on the past, which I described briefly in the beginning. Most notably, when Ichika tries to recruit Honami, the poor pie lover wonders how long she can keep this up, but she rejects her anyways. When Ichika and Saki go to buy an instrument, they run into Shiho. Shiho tells them that if he can play a piece well, then she would join the band. Ichika and Saki rise to the occasion, and when they actually perform the piece, it goes perfectly, until Saki passes out. That's not good. Ichika and Shiho obviously feel very bad for pushing her, but at the end of the day, Shiho joins the band. Over the course of the next few episodes, they all work to recruit Honami. Saki gave up on it completely, thinking it would be better for her to leave her alone. Obviously, that isn't what Saki wants, and it made her cry. Now, Shiho's very protective, so as she and Honami have a chat, it goes just as well as you think. Yeah, not great. Honestly, I don't think she was as mean as it was made out to be, but oh well. Eventually, Ichika, after a lot of struggle, finds the determination and initiative to confront Honami. And by the end of their very emotional conversation, Honami joins the group. Afterwards, Leonid is formed. The girls all discover their true feelings, and they perform Needle as a result. At first, I didn't really like Leonid, and while it still may be more towards the bottom of my ranking, I just love it so much. Anyways, here are my designs for Miku and Luka, the unit's main vocaloids. Both of their designs are very good. They both clearly read as the more mature or grown-up version of the Leonid members. My only gripe is the colors. In the original designs, Miku is more pink while Luka is more blue. I don't understand this at all. My best guess is that Miku was meant to be more similar to Saki, so she's more pink, and Luka is meant to be like Ichika, but even that's a stretch, especially since Saki is yellow, but I digress. Anyways, now that I'm done with the basics, let's move on to what you actually came here to see. Ichika is basically the main character of the game. I think she's meant to represent the average player. She loves Miku, is shy, and is overwhelmed by the sheer amount of loneliness she feels. Out of all the Leonid characters, she's probably my least favorite. It's not that she isn't interesting, but the others just have more. I haven't read many of the stories, but at least in the main story, she seems very simple. Ichika is more or less the hero of the story. She's the kind, gentle friend who manages to get the band back together. She's constantly there for everyone and is genuinely an amazing person. I'm pretty sure she was the only member to see Saki when she was in the hospital, at least the only member to see her consistently. But that's about it. The other characters all have things going on outside of Leonid, and Ichika just feels flat. At least, she seems flatter than the rest of the group. In terms of her design, I think it's fairly strong. Her hair is unique, and her outfit clearly conveys, I'm in a band, and I'm a student. And while I certainly think that is the base of her character, she seems a little too confident. I think Ichika's shyness and or lack of initiative has a lot of potential. If I were to write her differently, I would make that part of her bigger, so that when she grows past it, the payoff would be more rewarding. I also think that it'd be really cool to see someone so determined have to cope with their own lack of confidence. In her original design, I really like her hair. I think the mix of the base of it being really straight along with the few wild strands perfectly sums her up. For the most part, she is very basic, but she's starting to grow past that. In my design, I did something a bit different. Her hair is still messy, but now even more so. I wanted to resemble a lion's mane to some extent, since Leonid is named after the constellation Leo, and Leo's animal is a lion. I also gave her pigtails, because if she loves Miku so much, I feel like she would like to replicate her at least somewhat. Ichika was honestly the easiest character for me to redesign. I knew exactly what I liked and what I wanted to change. Plus, her original design was already strong enough for me to not have to make too many major changes. Now that she's done, let's move on to the next character, Saki Tenma.
Saki is by far my favorite Leonid character, and is actually one of my favorites in the entire game. While she and Ichika are both fairly similar with their goals to start Leonid, I feel like Saki has a lot more weighing on it. Ichika is doing it mainly because she's lonely and wants her friends back together. And yeah, Saki is also doing it for that reason, but she's also doing it because she's missed out on so much of her life, and she wants to bring back something familiar, something that gives her hope for the future. Her friends mean everything to her, and while she's already lost so much time, she can't lose them too. A small side note, Saki, or really anyone with a chronic illness or disability, just makes me upset, for lack of a better word. I'm perfectly able-bodied myself, and the idea of me losing autonomy over my body any given day is terrifying. And all the while, you have to watch everyone else do the things you can't so easily? I just can't imagine that. And there's also so much stigma around it, it can't be anything other than terrible. Regardless, Saki is genuinely such a cheerful character. She holds the group together, and possibly even the whole game's cast. And she does it all with a smile. I would expect her to be so much more negative, because I would, but she's not, and I love that for her. In terms of her design, I really like it. I like her hair, her sense of fashion, just everything. For my design, I wanted to keep a lot of the same aspects. I gave her a sweater vest and leg warmers, which at least in my opinion are fairly fashionable. They also have the obligatory star motif, so yay. I also really enjoy her yellow and pink color scheme, so I use that as well. The biggest thing I changed was her hair. I love her original pigtails, but I figured that if I gave Ichika pigtails, I would have to get rid of Saki's. So instead, I gave her space buns and called it a day. Another thing I changed is that I made the tips for fingers more pinkish. This is kind of an homage to Luka from Alien Stage, but I also wanted to be something visual tipping off about her disability. All in all, I really enjoy Saki, and I also really enjoyed redesigning her. Now, let's move on to the next character, Honami Mochizuki. Honami was the hardest character for me to redesign. I just didn't really have any ideas, and I'm not entirely satisfied with how I ended up doing it. Her original design, at least the one after the 3rd anniversary, is really strong. I think Leonid in general has very good designs, but for the others, there was always something I could exaggerate more, but with her I just blanked. What was the most obvious to me was to make her body slightly larger. Honami has the biggest chest in the game, and having tits that big doesn't usually come with such a small waist. But outside of that, I struggled a bit. My first thought was I could give her some kind of short sleeve thing like Cure Beauty from Smile Pretty Cure has, but I couldn't get it to work. I ended up settling for just a blazer, which is fine if not a little basic, but I think I could have done more. It's not even that she doesn't have anything going for her. I've just always struggled to convey someone's personality while also keep them incredibly put together. For me, subtle imperfections are what drive my designs, so not having something like that just threw me through a loop. I ended up just exaggerating how put together she is. In my design, her hair is brightly braided and everything is symmetrical. Honami may have been a little lost in the main story, but she's also very together for the rest of the story. I also want to make it more obvious that she's the leader of Leonid, but I doubt I did that very well. Anyways, this is my design for Honami. It's definitely worse than the others, at least in my opinion, but I don't really think it's terrible. Moving on, let's do the final design, Shiho Hinamori. I don't like Shiho in the beginning. I hate how far she pushes them, especially Saki. I mean, ignoring her in the main story, I think she's pretty interesting. She seems to mirror Akito in a way I just adore, and her connection to the word faith is really cool, especially since it's not used in a religious context. In terms of her design, I want her to be more alternative. I think Leonid definitely has more punkness than the other groups do, and since Shiho works the hardest out of them and is more involved, I think she would also be the punkest out of them all. Because of this, I gave her heavier eye makeup, dark lipstick, and fishnets. The biggest thing I changed about her is her hair. I hate Shiho's hair. I can't understand why on earth it's gray. She's a teenager, not a 70-year-old man. I mean, it's not like everyone else has natural hair, but gray? I mean, her sister has beautiful teal hair. Just how did she end up like this? Gray worked with her design, just not as her hair. Instead, I chose to make her hair black with green accents. I think the cut of it, along with the dyed bits, convey that she's an alternative girl pretty well. In addition to this, I also wanted to make her more attractive? Mature? Shizuku, her sister, was literally the most attractive person in her idol group, and, is an idol group, so it's pretty hard to do that. You're telling me Shiho didn't get her good looks too? No, I think Shiho would be very pretty, and she would despise it. I could totally imagine people gawking at her, or her getting scouted on the street by modeling agencies and her purposely trying to uglify herself to avoid it. Shiho would want to be seen for what she can do, not what she looks like. I also think this would cause parallels between Shiho and Shizuku, and it could cause a lot of conflict and bonding between them. Anyways, this is my finished Shiho design. Once I figured out what I was going to do with her, I have had a lot of fun with her. Anyways, here are all of my designs together. If you have any thoughts, critiques, or anything like that, please let me know in the comments. In general, I think I did pretty good, but there's always room for improvement. Before I let you all go, I would just like to thank you for sticking around till the end. If you haven't already noticed, this is actually my first video ever, so I really appreciate you being here. If you can, please like and subscribe, and also please comment what you want to see next. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!